Create your own custom comic strip today on Call for Help.
Good to see you. Welcome. It's time, yes, for Call for Help, that wonderful show everybody's been telling you about and you've always thought you should watch. Well, you're watching it. Thank you. We're so glad you're here. And if you're a regular, if you've been watching, we've been on the air continuously, almost, except for a 2-week break. 7+ years, 7.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Helping, I know, I cannot feel old. Helping people understand technology, not just computers, although it was computers pretty much when we started. Windows and Mac, but now the internet, MP3 players, PDAs. When we first started this show, Windows 95 was the operating system people were using. We've come a long way, baby. And I'll tell you, one of the best upgrades to this show is this person right here, Amber McCarthy.
Aw, thanks,
I
Leo.
really enjoy doing it. You only a year now.
I know, it's only been a year. I don't know how you've been doing it for 7. Wow, you must be tired.
You'll look like me in 6 more. Oh, that's too terrible to even contemplate. What are you going to do today on the show?
Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the Yahoo Trip Planner, which is a beta service that Yahoo offers to go in and actually plan your entire trip and plan your trip with friends. If you plan to go on vacation, you can email a bunch of people and you can do it all online.
You're
and
planning
it's
a big trip to New York City. Did
yes,
you use
I
it
am.
for that?
No, actually, I'm keeping Jenna, my roommate, who's planning a trip, away from this because it will allow you to stay so organized that every second of our day will be scheduled.
She's already pretty much there.
It's out of control. There's
She
no
knows
time
where
for sleeping.
You know where you're eating, where you're going, what tours, everything, the whole thing.
Everything.
You've
The
got
double-decker
tickets.
bus. We have tickets to Regis and Kelly. Everything is organized. So it's up. We're running in Central Park every day.
Oh, she's even planned that in.
Oh, yeah, just the 2 of us, though. There's 9 girls going, but just the 2 of us are going to run in the morning.
Watch out in New York. This is going to be something to see.
Scary.
So the Yahoo Trip Planner. But can you book your travel through it?
Yeah, you can also book your travel through it.
I might want to know more about this.
I know. It's really, really cool.
Travel a lot. Somebody who has been with Call for Help since almost the very beginning, Alex Lindsay, is here. He's our Photoshop and 3D expert, and he's going to show you how to take your pictures. This would be such a great gift, or even for a greeting card, and turn them into comic strips.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like this idea. So that's coming up on the show today. But let's get to the thing that show is famous for. See, Call for help. Right there, it says it. Call for help is our phone calls. Who's our first caller?
All right, we have Patrick on the webcam from Georgia, Vermont.
Greg's with me, a little traveling music here. Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Leo.
Say hello to Basil on camera number 1.
Hello, Basil on camera 1.
Hey, Patrick, how are you today?
I'm doing fine.
Georgia, Vermont. Very confusing.
Yes, it is, especially when I go across the border into Canada. They always ask me where you're from, and you say Georgia, and they say, why do you have Vermont plates on your car?
Because live free or die, baby.
Well, that's New Hampshire.
Oh, never mind. What is Vermont?
The Green Mountain State.
Green Mountain, that's right, because the Green Mountain Boys and all that.
Yep.
So what can I do for you today, Patrick?
Well, actually, I'm a displaced Californian. And I married a good Vermont woman.
Now I'm really confused.
And I like to listen to a particular radio station from San Francisco.
Okay.
And fortunately for me, they stream over the internet.
What station? Just out of curiosity, because
KFOG.
Oh, I love KFOG.
I love Dave Morey's 10 at 10 in the morning.
Me too. It's one of the great radio shows of all time, and Dave's a good friend, so I'm glad to hear you say that. I just love it. And in fact, I think 10 at 10 is really the most popular thing on KFOG. Really fabulous.
It's sort of like a primer in pop music.
Yeah, they pick a year or a style, and then they'll do 10 songs. And it airs in San Francisco at 10 in the morning, so I guess that would be 1 p.m.
1 in the afternoon,
yeah. Yeah. So what's the deal? I mean, I think that's cool. You're listening to it? And
yeah, I like to record it, though, and put it on my iPod.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they stream in Windows Media.
Yeah, and it doesn't sound so hot.
And I use Audio Hijack on my Mac in order to record it so I can stick it on my iPod and play it in my car when I'm driving around.
Okay.
And like you said, if I listen to it on my computer with my little tinny, computer speakers, it sounds okay.
Right.
But when I put it on my iPod and I play in my car, it sounds like it's in the bottom of a well.
And that's because it is.
Yeah.
The well is called the Internet.
Yeah.
In order to get that to go streaming, they have to kind of go lowest common denominator. One of the things you decide when you're streaming is, well, what's the slowest bandwidth we're going to support? And I bet you they support dial-up, which means that their listeners can't do more than 40,000 bits per second. So they're going to do a stream that is probably around 26 to 33 kbps.
Yeah. Well, my question is, an audio hijack, it has this like post-processing things where it looks like you can fiddle with the sound and make it sound better. And I was wondering if that's possible to do anything like that.
No, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you know, when you have something that's 30 kilobits per second, remember that an MP3 that's roughly CD quality takes 64,000 bits per second per channel. So a stereo broadcast would be 128,000 bits per second. So you're going a quarter of that. And what happens? Well, in order to make it that small, they have to rip pieces of the sound out of it. There's data missing. So, yeah, you could run it through processing and you could do a few things. You could equalize it. But, you know, if there's no bottom to begin with, putting more bottom on isn't going to give it a better sound. You're just going to bring up whatever artifacts and noise are in that range. You could do some noise reduction, and that might help. Noise reduction takes out any hiss or any consistent buzz or hiss or rumble, anything that is kind of unchanging throughout the whole thing can be pretty easily removed. But even that's not going to improve it, because the problem is that they've compressed it so highly. You know, and that's, I think you're pretty much stuck. I mean, Alex Lindsay is here, and I know he does a lot of audio post-processing. If you take a 30K stream, you know, an internet stream from KFOG, there's nothing you can do to clean that up to make it sound like a CD.
It's not going to sound like a CD ever.
Can you make it better?
You sometimes can bring up. You can't really put a lot. It's like having a photograph that's under-resed. I mean, you can.
Right.
You can.
The data's gone.
There's just no data there. You might be able to, with the equalizer, move it around a little bit, make it a little more bassy, make it a little bit more.
Yeah, but if there's, and as I said, there's no bass. You know, there's no information. So turning up that.
It'd be mostly moving it from one thing to another.
Right.
Yeah, you're just kind of moving it around. If you like it to not be as, you know, if you like it to be a little bit more bassy, not as tinty, you might be able to do that. You can move it from one place to another, but you're not going to be able to create any new data.
And the thing that's bothering you, Patrick, most is that digital artifacting, that it sounds like it's down a well, or kind of has a hollow sound to it.
Exactly.
And that is caused by the compression, period. And you're really not going to get rid of that. At least not without creating some other horrible side effect, right?
I mean, you know, I think the easiest fix is to get a whole bunch of people to email KFOG and get them to BitTorrent or do something
to
of
a higher quality
version,
stream,
saying, hey, you know, we've got more bandwidth than this. We could listen to something. If you listen to KQED, for instance,
they do a variety of
streams. They have an excellent quality on their streaming. So
that really is the only thing to do is to either listen to a higher quality stream if they have one, or if they don't, kind of ask them to. I will show you. I mean, one thing you probably already know is that he puts the playlists up. So another thing he'd be really smart to do, and you know what, I'm going to send Dave an email and tell him this. If they became an iTunes affiliate, which is free, they could put these playlists on iTunes, and you could buy those songs. And you know, I mean, these playlists are fantastic, and if you like the songs, you could buy them. I think they should put these 10 at 10 lists on. I mean, they're already publishing them.
Yeah, that would be a wonderful idea.
Yeah, put a link. The other thing I do recommend is, you know, if you use a Mac, as I remember, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah. If you use iTunes, you know, they have built-in radio stations. Look and see what's on there. There's some classic rock stations. And you know, if you could find one that's 128 kilobits, and some of the streaming stations there are, that's basically going to be streaming MP3s. They use Shoutcast. And those are going to be pretty high. That's going to sound better than FM radio, frankly.
Yeah,
so
but it's not Dave.
It's not Dave, unfortunately. And, you know, I'll tell you what. Now, they go through a company to do this that charges them $300 a month. I'll show you, because I know the company that they use to do this. So it's pretty cheap, right? It's called StreamAudio.com. So basically, they're doing the cheap audio. They're doing the cheapest thing they can, and you know, that's what you get. I'm sorry to say. And I think, you know, 10 at 10 is syndicated, and it may be that they don't want to cannibalize the syndication. I don't know. It's a really great show. I know how you feel, Patrick. I listen to it every morning. Well, I shouldn't rub it in, but I love it. It's a really great show. Nothing you can do with low quality digital audio if it was that way to begin with. I'm sorry to say.
Well, thank you for the information.
Thanks, Patrick. Okay. Have a great day.
You
Take
too.
care.
Bye-bye.
Coming up after the break, are your family members bizarre enough that you could create your own comics? This is what Dave Morey sounds like. Based on their crazy characters, we'll get Alex Lindsay to show us how to do it. The call for help continues in a few moments.
to liven up holiday snapshots, tell a funny story, or create eye-catching posters? Why not take your favorite photos and transform them into comic strip art? Here to show us some simple software that will make it all happen is our pixel pusher, Alex Lindsay. Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Pixel pusher. That's a good name for you. Pushing them along. So what do you have to show us today?
So this one, it was one of those things I just kind of saw it passing on the web, and it just was so much fun to play with. It's called Comic Life.
Okay.
And what it does is it's built on a Mac, so it really it's designed to work with iPhoto and all these and what it does is it lets you put together real quick comic strips.
Cool. Is it free?
It's not. There is a demo that you can download. When you register, it's like $25.
That's not too bad.
It's really not that bad. And at first I thought, oh, $25, that's kind of a lot of money for but it actually is so much fun. So it's really, really worth it. A lot of us, I've done these, before, and it's a lot of work in Illustrator or in Word or whatever to kind of set up everything. And this just makes it so easy. So
So even I could do it.
Even you could do it.
All right, so let's see what you have.
All right, so what you can do is you have, in here you have libraries. So these are the different page layouts. Now you can create your own page layouts if you want, but they have a bunch of them all set up for you. So if you look through here, let's just grab the brick one. We'll just grab the first one. And we simply just drag it onto our page.
So that's your background, basically.
That sets up where all the images are going to go.
Okay.
And the great thing is that you don't have to do anything, lay it out, and now all I need to do is drag photos in. So, for instance, if I want to, right before the show, I was running around.
Oh, this is why you're running around with your camera.
Yeah, I was taking lots of pictures. So here's Amber.
So you just position them right into the block.
And it just drops right into the block, and it's cropped into the block. I can rotate it if I wanted to.
Can you actually
I can play with the scale.
The size of
the
photo?
I can play with it like this if I want to, like that. Let's say I want it to be kind of cropped like that. I can also, once I add something here, I can go into the details.
Okay.
And I've got some style attributes and filters. So I can give it a frame, so I can give a frame inside of a frame kind of look. I can also, once you register it, so I don't think these are available when you demo it, but once you register it, you have all these little filters. So for instance, I can do the high contrast.
Oh, that's cool. So it has that sort of black and white.
Or drawn. Just quick little...
Can you actually fill in the background? You know how it's all white there right now? Could you fill that in with something?
Yeah, you can go in here. Let's see if I grab the actual frame. So I should be able to grab the frame here. And here's the fill. So I can go in here and make this, let's just say I want it to be all black back there.
So you can easily just fill it in.
So I can just fill that in with any, and then if I want to have you say something, I can, just grab it in here and just drag this little guy in here.
Just a little talk bubble.
Nanu.
I want the nano. How about that?
I want a nano.
Or thanks, Alex, for your nano.
There we go. Wait.
So
thanks, Alex.
So then you just type it in easily, and then you can change the font, I'm imagining.
You can change the font. You can move it around. You can, and the great thing is I can move it around here, and you can see that it kind of sticks. So I have it here. I can also just grab this end point, and get it to point just to what just to where I want it.
So it can come out of my mouth instead of my eye.
It's, usually that's when some people talk, that's what it seems like. But anyway, so there we have there. But now I can go back, and the great thing is this is just this album that I'm grabbing this stuff out as just last roll. It's if I have here's all my other albums in iPhoto.
Yeah.
So we can just look at all the XML data there and grab the photos.
So basically, you can pull any photo that you have in iPhoto. So if you wanted to do kind of a family cartoon strip, you could pull all the members of your family in.
And literally, I took this. You can also, the one thing I probably should have set up, you can also set up your eyesight.
Oh, that's
and I forgot to put it on my computer here, but if you put the eyesight on, you can actually do this and literally have it capture that frame.
Okay.
So you can have if you want people to just kind of put stuff together, you literally don't even need a camera. You just get an eyesight or your video camera, hook it up and through a FireWire, and just be capturing frames directly into Comic Life. So it's
awesome.
It's really cool. And then if you want to just so as you grab more of these, you just it's really fun when you start to fill it up. So
you have to be pretty creative, I'm guessing, with try to tell a story or something.
Yeah,
like
I mean, you want to. Because it's but you can. What I found was kind of funny is that you can really create funny comic strips. You just start walking around taking pictures of people or a scene, And then you just start thinking of all kinds of funny things people could be saying or thinking, or this person isn't it, whatever.
It would be cool to do this as kind of like a Christmas card or a holiday card or birthday card or something, where you actually create the front of the card. Because you know how you see those old sort of comic strips that are on the front of the card? If you did this, kind of a custom comic strip, and then resize the template so it fit a business or a Christmas card.
It'd be perfect. Yeah, go ahead.
So that's something that you can easily do. You can resize the actual, because right now it looks like it's a full page. I have to admit I haven't tried to resize it, but I'm sure that you can. So it's just a matter of I imagine setting up the details. There is a whole thing on setting up pages, so you should be able to just change all the pages, make them whatever layout you want. These layouts are all adjustable. These are the built-in ones, but you can make lots of other ones to set things up, and it's just so nice and easy and fun. So you can basically output it as kind of a JPEG and create sort of a website with a bunch of different comic strips. That would be cool as well. That could actually, for another way to do a single page on your website, or probably even do your whole website, make them all clickable. That's cool, because I actually saw this really cool comic strip lately that's recently called The Adventures of Tom Cruise and Spork, and it's this kid from Newfoundland who's created this awesome comic strip, and it seems like you could use something like this easily to create an entire website that was kind of like a comic book, but within literally a few hours you could throw something together that's pretty cool. We should get them to put some web stuff in here. And you can have a call for help comic. Oh no! Now the ideas are brewing. Oh no! I shouldn't have mentioned anything. So it's $25. It's $25, and it's Plask. It's the link is up on the show notes. Okay. I think it's PLAQS or PLASQ. It's kind of an odd name for a company, but they make a lot of other kind of Mac-based kind of stuff. But it's just a ton of fun. $25. You can download one that you can put this stuff together. So there's a demo up there that you can play with. I highly suggest it. So you could turn us all into action heroes with like PAL, Kazam. Exactly. It's got the PALs, PAL built in. Very cool. Okay, so next time you have to do that for sure, Alex. All right. Thanks a lot, Alex. Alex has spent many years doing digital production. You can find out more about his troupe of multimedia masters at pixelcore.com. And for our show notes from this segment, visit callforhelptv.com. And now it's time to test your tech knowledge with our quiz question of the day. Today we're asking, how much did Yahoo pay for broadcast.com? Is it A, $130 million, B, $2.5 billion, C, $5 billion, or D, $10.50? Think about it, and we'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back to Call for Help. Time for our iTunes tip of the day. Here's how you make a quick playlist on your Mac. All you have to do is command-click on the songs that you would like to add, and then shift-click on the plus sign at the bottom of iTunes, and then it will instantly create that playlist. And this only works on a Mac and not in Windows. And now we have another caller. We have Barry on the line from East Northport, New York.
East Northport? First we have Georgia, Vermont, now East Northport. I'm confused. Hello, Barry. How are you today?
Very good, Leo. And it's wonderful to have you back in the United States broadcasting again.
Yes, thanks to G4 for bringing us back.
Yes, I really do miss you. I really did.
Well, I thank you. And I think it was really all the cards and letters that people sent to G4 that brought the show back. As without your support, I don't think we'd be here. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad that helped.
Yeah. What can I do for you?
I have a computer, a big desktop, and a notebook, and I'd like to know how to synchronize files. So if I change files in my big computer, as I like to call it, I want to put it into my notebook without using Microsoft Briefcase, which is very slow and a pain to use.
And pretty much useless, yeah. Yes. I agree with you. Yeah.
Yes. So I was wondering if there was a system or a file that you have.
Yeah. For a long time, I've used a shareware program called Second Copy for this kind of purpose. And it's a synchronizer. What you want, and this is what Briefcase was supposed to be, but it doesn't do very well. What you ideally would like to do is set up a program, and you'd say, okay, when this volume is mounted or when you see this drive, and you want to make sure that anything new on that drive gets copied over to this folder. Let's say you're copying My Document, the entire My Documents folder. Exactly. Anything in My Documents on the laptop drive gets copied to the desktop drive, and anything new on the desktop drive gets copied to the laptop drive. They're synchronized. That's not a mere plain copy. It's copying the latest version of every file. Now, the only time you get in trouble is if the file's been updated on 2 different sources. If you've updated on the laptop and made changes on the desktop, then you're going to have what's called a conflict, and it's going to make you choose one or the other version. You'll lose some changes on one of the versions. But presuming that you don't do that, and most people don't, this works very well. Now, second copy is not free. It's shareware.
That's fine.
I've used it for a long time. Well, here's something interesting. Apparently, Microsoft themselves doesn't like Briefcase, or realizes there's a problem, because they've come up with a program. They just shipped it about a week ago, or 2 weeks ago as we're doing this show. It's called SyncToy. If you do a Google search for SyncToy, it'll take you right to the Microsoft page for SyncToy, SYNCTOY. It's part of the Microsoft Power Toys. Now, Microsoft has always done this, starting with Tweak UI. These are user interface enhancements that they don't want to support. They're not official parts of Windows, but they realize they're useful enough, important enough, or fun enough that they really want to put them out. It's kind of their equivalent of Google Labs or Yahoo Labs, you know, the stuff the guys in the back room came up with. And SyncToy does exactly what you want. It is exactly designed. In fact, they say, well, we really came up with this because of digital cameras and cell phones and portable media players, where you have digital content, let's say pictures on your camera, and you can't remember, did I copy them over or not? And it'll actually check and say, oh, these are new, these aren't, and won't copy the stuff that's not new. This is what it looks like. They've made it, I have to say, if you want a power tool, second copy is better. That's from centeredsystems.com. But if you want a simple tool, this is great. Basically, they have the left folder and the right folder. In this case, we've got the left folder is my pictures on the C drive, and the right folder is my pictures on the D drive, and then you just say sync. You can also create new folder pairs, so you can say the left folder. I think this actually is a good metaphor, left folder, right folder, because it's, instead of saying source, destination, and all of that, it kind of makes more sense. So I'm going to make it my documents on the D drive, or actually I should make it the C drive, my documents, and I'm going to make a backup on the D drive as my documents. Do you map your laptop drive when you, how do you do it? Do you network it? Do you connect?
I networked it, but let me just say this to you. I learned all these years about Google Power Toys and how to network from your shows.
Oh, that's great. Well, Barry,
so, with you not here, I've kind of been left for 2 years, frozen,
wandering in the desert. Well, I'm glad that we could finally come back to rescue you, and I'm really pleased that there's something so cool.
No, but I learned about Tweak UI and Power Toys.
Well, this is it.
AdAware and 1,000 other things that makes everything just run so smoothly.
It's very gratifying to me because to know that people use these tools. So here's the choices on here. Left, right folder, you can either synchronize, which means they're copied both ways. You can echo, which might be what you want. New and updated files are copied left to right, that is from desktop to notebook. And renames and deletes on the left are repeated on the right. So if you delete something on the left, it repeats it on the right. Sometimes you want to synchronize, which means there are no deletions, but the problem is that the copy folder gets bigger and bigger and bigger. There's also subscribe, which means you can say, this is an interesting one, and I kind of like this. If I've ever copied this file before to my laptop, in other words, if a copy exists on the laptop, then update it. But don't put any new files on my laptop, which is kind of an interesting, I think that's kind of useful. I've never seen that done before. Contribute goes the other direction without deletions. Combine doesn't delete or rename files, so you get, kind of a full set of files on both sides. And then you can name it, and I'm going to say this is copy docs to laptop, and you're done. And you've actually created this action, and you can run it. You can use the scheduler to schedule it on a regular basis. Probably you'll want to run it manually. When you hook up your laptop, you press a button, and there it is. I have to say, this clearly answers a need. There are shareware and third-party programs. Again, the Power Toy is probably second copy from Centered Systems. But this, I think, is going to do everything you want, and it does it with nice big buttons. For us dummies. Okay, Barry?
That's it. Thank you so much.
Bless you. I'm so glad we're back, and thank you for your very kind call.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Are you looking to plan the trip of a lifetime? It might not be to New York City with 9 other girls. Well, that does sound fun, doesn't it? But we can get you some help online to get the most out of your vacation. Amber's got some tips on that topic when we return in just a few minutes. TV host, not an engineer. Was that yours? I hope. Sorry about that, neighbor. We used to depend. I'm making a mess of the place. We used to depend on travel agents. Did you see my shirt, by the way? Look at that.
Oh, it's all little computers.
It's little computers and gadgets, and maybe you just thought somebody barfed on me, but no. This is it's a tech shirt. How do you like that?
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
I feel bad for travel agents these days. Isn't it a tough life for a travel agent? We used to go, you want to go on a trip, you go to a travel agent, they book it all for you, they do all the work. Now, you organize your whole adventure, online. You go to Expedia, and now you can even do it one better. Amber's got a site that does it all for you.
Yeah, it's great. It's called the Yahoo Trip Planner, and it's a beta version right now. So they're just obviously testing it. They pretty much launch everything in beta, and then work out the bugs and then fix it.
Is it buggy at all?
It's not that buggy. I mean, they can definitely do a few more things to kind of extend it and make it more compatible with all the other Yahoo services. Because if you notice with Yahoo,
go into your calendar.
It does actually. It works right now with your Yahoo Mail, with My Yahoo, and those types of things. So it seems as though Yahoo is, kind of scrambling to get all the services they offer, get you basically logging in using one account, your Yahoo account, and managing your trips, managing your web pages, managing all of that stuff in one place.
There's a trend going on here. I think Google's doing it too. These web services. More and more of what you want to do is getting done online and not on your own computer. And I think if I were Microsoft, I'd be a little nervous.
Yes, definitely.
We don't really need an less and less do we need an operating system. We just need a browser.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's everything from web-based project management tools to to-do lists.
Yeah.
People are getting away. Even at some point, I'm going to be doing this other service called Writely, which allows you to exchange documents online and edit them online. So even getting rid of the fact of using Microsoft Word and track changes and managing your documents that way. So anyway,
I'm interested in this because I do a lot of traveling.
Yeah, this is really cool.
So,
so what you do is you can create a new account, or you can log in using your existing Yahoo account. So it says, welcome to the Trip Planner. What we're going to do is we're going to say that I want to go to New York, because I am going there, and I'm imagining that I'm planning it versus Jenna planning it. So
this is your version.
Yeah, all girls trip. So we'll write that in, and then what you do.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. That leaves you out.
I know. Sorry, Mikey.
I think.
And if we see you walking around the streets, that would be creepy. And then we'll enter the start date. So let's just say we're going again next April, and I'm planning this trip. So
what if I'm on Regis the day you're there? Will that freak you out?
That would be awesome.
Oh, okay.
That would be really cool.
You won't get freaked out?
No, I won't get freaked out at all.
It's actually very possible.
Okay, so we'll say we're going next year, so that would be 06.
Okay.
So we'll just change
that. In fact,
that.
it knew that. Look, see, it wanted.
I know, it's actually smarter than me, which is making me a little concerned
so
of it.
You mean 06, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so
I like that. I love it when they pop up.
They have the little calendar. Yeah. So then all you do is you go in and you actually create the trip, and so then
look at this.
I know, isn't this awesome? But now, if you look at the top here, it says New York is created, but sharing is set to private. And what we want to do is, because I'm going with 9 girlfriends, is I want to be able to share the settings with them and let them go in and actually edit this as well. So allow everybody to view this trip, and I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to say allow these friends to view and edit, and then I put in all of their email addresses.
This is where there's a real advantage to web-based programs.
Oh, there really
like
is.
This.
Just sharing and collaborating. That's where they become, really, really powerful. So I'm just going to enter my own email address here because I don't want to put all my friends in right now. So then you do that, and then it says that New York updated and can be edited by Amber at callforhelptv.com.
Those people need a Yahoo Mail account or Yahoo account.
No, they don't. They don't need a Yahoo Mail account, but they'll be prompted to subscribe once they get the email. So they'll have to go through the
eventually
they'll have to sign up for it, but so you can send it to anyone. Okay. So then my friends have all been sent emails, so they're allowed to edit this. So then the next process is, let's say I'm the owner of the account, so I'm the administrator of the account. So I would go in and it says add items to New York and what I want to do in New York, and it comes up with these great suggestions of things to do in New York City, and it does a really good job of generating suggestions.
That's what my daughter wanted to do when we went.
So let's say that we want to go to Central Park. So I'm going to save that. So I'll click Save, and what that's doing is it's saving it in my profile, and then it goes in and it has a little bit of a blurb about Central Park, and then it has a map on the left, and then on the far right, which Jenna would absolutely love because she is a big planner in the group, is Schedule It. So I'll say, you know what, we want to go to Central Park on Friday, April 21st in the morning, and grab our coffee and sit on a bench and people watch or something like that. So you click that and then you update. So what you've done is you've scheduled it to happen that day. So
this is even good for somebody like me because I always go somewhere and then I go, what do I do now? If I had planned a little bit, I could have, and this makes it so easy.
Yeah, it makes it really, really easy. So then you just go in and, like I said, you plan, the time you want to do it, the day you want to do it, and it updates it for those specific times and dates.
Can you add an event that's not in its schedule or a place to go that's not there?
Yeah, you're good, Leo. It's like you anticipate what I'm going to say.
I'm just wondering.
The next step. No, that's a really good point.
Because of course it's got a list, and it looks like a decent list, but it can't have everything.
So it a list of all these suggestions. Now, when we go to New York, we're going to go see Regis and Kelly, and obviously we want to put it in. It's not on there. We want to put this into our timetable. So then what you do is you can go and you can say, hey, I'm going to find the Regis and Kelly website, so you can actually put this URL into your trip planner. So what I do then is I've downloaded this little Yahoo bookmarklet, which allows you to just like Furl or those other services I've talked about, where you just click on this, and then it automatically syncs up with the Yahoo trip planner. And then I can say I want to add that URL to our trip. So then I go in here to trip, and I say choose trip. Well, it's not the Maui trip.
You've got another one planned.
That's imaginary. So it's not the Maui trip.
That's another good thing for this. You can do imaginary trips.
And then you choose the category. It would be entertainment, and then the name is Live with Regis and Kelly, and then you put the website URL there. And then what I will do here is say I'll put a little note here. Hold on a sec. Is that we have to meet. Hold on. Okay, just a sec. We have to meet outside at, I think we have to be there at 8 a.m. I think that's what they told us. The bookers told us. So
bring umbrellas.
Yeah, exactly. Bring umbrellas.
Because you'd wait outside.
So, okay, so that's a good point. So then all I do is I click here and I say add that item. So then the little bookmarklet has helped me to automatically add that item to the list. And then it goes right out there. And then I can go back into my trips, and it will be in the trip as well, as far as the
Now,
New
you
York
said
trip.
you can buy air tickets, book hotels, do all of that,
Yeah,
too.
you can do all of that.
That's where they make their money at.
Exactly. So that's where they make their money. You could go in. It actually is partners with Travelocity. So you can go in, you can buy all your airline tickets, you can rent a car, you can do all those other types of things. And then the best thing, again, is the sharing of this, so other people can go in and they can edit it and add things they want to do.
So cool.
And then you can email people when you've updated it, and they can see all the things, which would be really helpful, because right now we have actually probably 5 or 6 emails a day going back and forth, and there's not one place. Jenna has a paper folder, organizing everything.
Will she move over to this?
I hope so, because we have friends all over the place.
Make it much
and it'd be great
easier. And
to
they
do
can
it on
see
the
what
web.
you're doing. And
Exactly. So it's a really awesome service.
Stalkers could hack it and find out where they could cite Amber MacArthur running through the park. Zip, zip it. We will not be using Yahoo Trip Planner for that. So there. For more trip probably if you're a major TV star like Amber, you shouldn't be using this, but everybody else. For more trip planning primers, visit callforhelptv.com. We actually have a lot of stuff because we dream of travel. We don't get to do it. We'll be back with more of your calls. Let's take a peek behind the scenes and see what's going on with those wacky kids we call the producers. Stay right here.
Resolve to RS2.
9.
Control room set.
Commercials.
7 commercials.
6. 5 commercials. 3. Roll commercials. 2. 1.
Welcome back to Call for Help. Time for our Flickr tip of the day. Here's how you can organize your photos in Flickr. Click on Organize at the top of your Flickr account after you've logged in, and then load all of your photos in the first pane for the Organize page. And then you can drag your photos into different sets on the right-hand side, and you can actually move your photos around. And now we have another caller. We have David on the line from De Montagne, Quebec.
Hello, David. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very well. Are there 2 mountains in De Montagne?
Yeah, well, no, not really.
Okay, so we've got East Northport, we've got Georgia, Vermont, and now we've got a town that's called 2 mountains that has no mountains. Okay, just wanted to make that clear. Geographic names have nothing to do with reality. What can I do for you, David?
Well, my computer, it's 864 megahertz and 384 meg of RAM.
Okay.
Which is not the greatest, but it's not that bad.
It's probably fine for, basic things.
Yeah. But when I have it on for a certain amount of time, maybe I'll just turn it on and walk away for an hour or 2.
Yeah.
It's slow. It dies. Like, I go to my control panel and I get my big flashlight looking for it. Or sometimes I get that for programs, and all of a sudden it'll start, and when I want to shut down or get out of a program, it seems to take forever. Or I go to the task manager, and it says, "Oh, it's still running. There's no problem. It's working."
Let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
When it puts a window up on the screen, does the window pop up, or can you see it drawing slowly up the screen?
Oh, no, it always seems to pop up.
Okay.
But
That's important.
Eh?
That's important. Because there's two different kinds of slowdowns. If it were slowing down because it had run out of memory,
yeah,
which could be because a program has a memory leak or is bogging you down that way, then the entire thing would be slow, including drawing windows on the screen. In fact, that's where you'd see it most obviously. You'd see a visible painting of the window on the screen. So, and that's really painful. But now what it sounds like is, it's not that it's slow, it's not responsive, as responsive as you'd like to be. So you click on a menu and you wait.
Yeah, I get that hourglass looking at me, going around in circles, not doing anything.
It's trying to read the drive. Now, what I think in this case is that you're having drive issues. The diagnosing these kinds of things is very tricky. So many things can cause these kinds of problems. But you've given me an important clue. One common reason that things slow down is that a program has a memory leak, starts to eat memory, you run out of memory, and you start having to use your hard drive or your page file as memory, and that will slow down everything. But you're showing a lack of responsiveness. In other words, when it's trying to hit the hard drive, it's slow. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, it needs to hit the hard drive to populate the menus. When you open, for instance, a really good example that you gave me was this going to the control panel. When you go to the control panel, Windows actually looks, and you see there is a slight hesitation there even on this machine, it actually looks to see what files are in the control panel folder and then populates that menu. It may do some caching, but I suspect that even with the cache, it still has to do some checking on the hard drive. So. And now you said this happens over time. It doesn't. At first, it's pretty snappy.
Oh yeah, no problem. Like sometimes I open up two windows. Like I work on my web page, so I open up Unleaded, which I use to do some of my stuff with, or I go to close down. Then I get a gray spot. You know where the program was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it takes forever.
And then to repaint the background.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that sounds now again like other slowdown issues. A couple of things I was checking. I can't, be honest with you, David. I cannot diagnose this by remote control, but I can give you some things to look at. I would worry about the hard drive. That's a pretty old machine.
Yeah.
And hard drives do wear out. A hard drive is very heat sensitive. So that could mean that it gets slower and slower as it gets hotter and hotter.
Right.
So I would do some checking on your drive. The very least you should do is do the disk test that's built into the scan disk that's built into Windows. Are you using XP, David?
XP Pro, yeah.
Yeah. And if you really wanted to, and I don't think it's a bad idea to buy this program. If you really wanted to check, use something like SpinRite. From grc.com.
Mr. Gibbons.
Mr. Gibson, yeah.
Gibson, yeah. I got some of his programs on there.
He's really good. Now, SpinRite's not cheap. It's $80. But if it can tell you if your hard drive's having problems. But that may not be the only possibility there. It could also be, do you, David, run anti-spyware software?
I run AVG.
Okay, that's an antivirus and a good one. But you could also have some spyware, which is notorious for slowing systems down. Windows systems all over the world are just destroyed by this stuff.
I run. I have no adware.
Okay.
I have Bug Doctor.
Okay.
I have Bulletproof.
Oh, you really got you. That may be what's slowing it down. To be honest with you,
I thought that would give me a problem. All of these.
I would turn off a few of these.
Yeah, they're off.
Oh, okay, and it's still going slow.
Yeah, I turned them off. I start them up manually when I come on.
That's good. Yeah, check and then turn them off because all the stuff running in the background, especially with only 384 megabytes of memory.
Well, that's what I thought was the problem.
And you're right. That would be something I would suspect too. Yeah, you want as minimum number of things starting up.
Yeah, I went to the startup menu and I took off a lot of things.
Good for you.
I've done everything I'm supposed to do. This is why I'm going wacko here.
More RAM would help.
Yeah. Well, I put in 256. With the 256 that came with the computer, but it only recognizes 128 of the 256 cards.
It may be, it may be old enough a computer that you can't go more than 384, or maybe they have to be added in a certain way. That's more likely.
Yeah.
Usually you have to add two on these older computers, 2 sticks at a time. It's all the sorts of rules. Any thoughts, Sean? I mean, we're kind of running out of time as well as ideas.
Well, the issue of getting slower as time goes on.
That's what's an interesting.
So I think you may be onto something with the heat issue.
Yeah.
If you haven't done this already, maybe crack the case open and make sure that there's not a buildup of dust. Make sure the fans are working.
Yeah.
Oh, good idea.
If you have pets in the house, hair will get in there.
Yeah, that's really a good idea.
Just make sure the intakes and outtakes are all clear.
Yeah, if you vacuum it out, you know, a couple-year-old computer, that one's about 4 years old, is going to have a blanket of dust in there.
And if you smoke, I don't know, that can cause the problem too.
That's a bad habit.
Yeah. Not that now we're not being moralistic.
No, I understand, but it is a bad habit. I should not smoke around the computer.
But yeah, that's right. You probably shouldn't, because that also can.
Oh, it's a good idea to check.
I think it's overheating. I have to think that now. You know, that's probably the best thing to check.
But you did mention something about a disk test that comes with Windows.
Yeah. If you open My Computer.
Yeah.
Right-click on your C drive.
Yeah.
And select Properties, and then click the Tools tab. There's an error checking program. It's really ScanDisk. It's not the best in the world, but
okay, ScanDisk.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, and it's probably a good idea to run that, and just check your disk periodically.
Yeah, I've done defrags. I've done everything. I mean, my defrag on this computer can take all night.
Well, it's a slow computer, frankly. And you don't have a lot of memory. You would get more. Improvement if you got up to 512 meg. Windows XP really needs 512. But the fact that it's slower when it's been running than when you started indicates something's going wrong over time. Heat or a program, programs starting to run in the background like spy programs.
Yeah.
Those are the kinds of things I would look at.
Well, everybody keeps telling me just reformat. I don't want to do that.
I don't blame you, but you're using Windows, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Of course. I'm an old DOS guy.
Yeah. Well, DOS doesn't have this problem because it's doing one thing at a time, right? But Windows, it's 20 years later, and if the thing is a house of cards, and frankly, that's a lot of the problem is Windows. So starting over is another way to fix this. I can't fix it, but there's some thoughts for you, David. Okay?
Thank you very much, sir.
I really appreciate your listening.
Thank you.
Watching.
Say hello to Andy and Amber for me.
I will. Time again to take a little teeny-weeny break, but we're going to remind you of our quiz question before we leave, and leave you unsupervised for a couple of minutes. How much did Yahoo pay for Broadcast.com? 130 million, 2.5 billion, 5 billion. I think it was worth $10.50, but we'll see. Go to the website, give us the answer. We'll talk about it when Call for Help continues. Before the break, we asked you, how much did Yahoo pay for Mark Cuban's Broadcast.com? I think it was $5 billion, wasn't it? It was a huge amount of money, yeah. Mark Cuban, of course, went right out, bought a basketball team, became a high-flying billionaire, and Broadcast.com, it pretty much disappeared off the face of the map. Not the best purchase Yahoo's ever made, I have to say. Are you ready for a knock-knock, John? I like to do these. Are you ready, Amber?
I'm ready.
Knock-knock.
Who's there?
Dewey.
Dewey who?
Let me do that again. I like her saying Dewey who. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Dewey.
Dewey who?
I'm sorry, I'm easily amused. Do we really have another caller on the line?
Yes, we do. We have Martin on the line from Kentville, Nova Scotia.
I think I'm really a 5-year-old trapped in a 50-year-old's body.
Hi, Martin.
How are you today?
Leo, I can identify with that.
Yes. They say that we really never, our minds all think we're 25, and our bodies know the difference.
Absolutely.
What can I do for you today?
Leo, I am an iTunes newbie. I've downloaded my entire CD collection.
Yes.
And I've now tried to play it on my iPad.
Uh-oh.
Through Windows Media, but it won't.
No. Because now there's two problems. First of all, if you buy music from the iTunes Music Store, that's one, because then you got copy protection. But you didn't do that.
No.
You took your own CDs. But when iTunes by default uses the AAC format when it rips music from a CD. AAC is a good format. It's a successor to MP3, but there is a problem. Not every MP3 player can play AAC files. So you put them in a format that you can't use. Now, the good news is, there's a couple of, I was looking, I don't know of any AAC players for Pocket PC, certainly no free ones, because AAC, you'd have to license it, right? But the good news is, you can tell iTunes, oops, can you turn those AAC files into MP3 files? And from now on, when you take a CD, just make it an MP3 file. iTunes doesn't care. The iPod doesn't care. It's only Windows devices that want MP3 or, of course, the Windows Media, which iTunes does not do. Is iTunes on this machine? I never can find anything on here. I don't know where it is. But I'm going to launch iTunes if I can find it. Where is it, Mike? Come on, you come on over here. In entertainment, of course. Where else would it be? Yes.
Can I convert the entire collection in one sweep?
I don't know. You should be able to. The way it works is you select a file. It'd take a while. You select a file, and then there's a menu command for convert to MP3. But the first thing you have to do, if I can find iTunes, I'll be able to do it for you. The first thing you have to do, I don't think iTunes is on here, unfortunately. The first thing you have to do, can I switch over to the Mac?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do that here. Go ahead, Mike. Switch it over to the Mac for me. The first thing you have to do is go into Preferences and tell it what your preferred format is. So let me open iTunes over on this computer, and I'll show you. I'm doing it on a Mac, but it's exactly the same Mac or PC. You go to Preferences, which in the PC is under the Tools menu, I think, and you're going to go to the Importing button. Now, in the new iTunes 5, they've kind of buried this. So you'll have to look. It's different location. But what you want to do is, what it's set for is import using the AAC encoder. That's what you did. And that's fine, because AAC is a better quality MP3, but you just can't play it back. So you're going to change to import using MP3 encoder. What I would do, since you're converting from AAC, is don't do the good quality, the 128 kilobits. Use a high quality, 160 kilobits. That way you'll get a better quality MP3.
All right.
Uncheck play songs while importing. That slows it down. Say OK. And then in your library, let me just see if we can do this. Select all the songs, and then under Advanced, yeah, you can. Convert selection to MP3, and then go to bed. Because it's going to take a while. Depending on the speed of your computer, it won't take, a minute for a minute's worth of song. It'll take, 1/30th to 1/50th that time. It's pretty quick. And then you'll have 2 copies of each song, AAC and MP3. You can throw out the AAC versions.
Ah.
Okay. Hey, Martin, I thank you for the call.
Thanks so much, Leo.
A little iTunes instructional there. iTunes is worth learning how to use because I really think it is the best program for managing your digital music. Hey, it's almost over, but not quite yet. We're going to leave you in suspense about what our final wrap-up will be about, mostly because I don't know. You'll have to stick around to find out, as will I. Don't go away. Welcome back to Call for Help. Amber's running iTunes 5, so I think we can show you on Amber's computer. They just put it in a different spot. So you go to Tools, Options, and it has to switch over in here in just a second. Tools, Options, then you go to the Advanced part of the options, and then what they've done is they buried it. See, General, Importing, and Burning, and then you go to the Importing section of the Advanced, and there it is. What do you do? Do you import as AAC or MP3?
Usually as MP3.
Just because it'll be more compatible
with everything else. It's just more compatible, yeah. I try to stay away from AAC.
And 160 kilobit MP3 is as good as 128 AAC, I think. If you've got a question for us, go to the website, click that link that says Ask a Question. You don't have to suffer if you've got a problem with your personal confuser.
Don't whine.
Don't moan.
Don't yell.
Just call!